Languages, of course, have come and gone through history. Babylonian is no longer spoken in the streets of Baghdad or Latin in the hills of Italy. But again, the biological analogy is useful. Extinction is a natural phenomenon, but in general, speciation, the evolution of new forms of life, has outpaced loss over the last 600 million years, making the world an ever more diverse place. When the sounds of Latin faded from Rome, they found new expression in the Romance languages. Today, just as plants and animals are disappearing in what biologists recognize as an unprecedented wave of extinction, so too languages are dying at such a rate that they leave in their wake no descendants. While biologists suggest that perhaps 20% of mammals, 11% of birds, and 5% of fish are threatened, and botanists anticipate the loss of 10% of floristic diversity, linguists and anthropologists today bear witness to the imminent disappearance of half the extant languages of the world. Over 600 have fewer than 100 speakers. Some 3,500 are kept alive by a fifth of 1% of the global population. The 10 most prevalent languages, by contrast, are thriving. They are the mother tongues of half of humanity. Fully 80% of the world's population communicates with one of just 83 languages. But what of the poetry, songs, and knowledge encoded in the other voices? Those cultures that are the guardians and custodians of 98.8% of the world's linguistic diversity. Is the wisdom of an elder any less important simply because he or she communicates to an audience of one? Is the value of people a simple correlate of their numbers? To the contrary, every culture is by definition a vital branch of our family tree, a repository of knowledge and experience, and, if given the opportunity, a source of inspiration and promise for the future. When you lose a language, the MIT linguist Ken Hale remarked not long before he passed away, you lose a culture. Intellectual wealth, a work of art. It's like dropping a bomb on the roof. But what exactly is at stake? What, if anything, should be done about it? A number of books over recent years have paid homage to the global sweep of technology and modernity, suggesting that the world is flat, that one does not have to emigrate to innovate, that we are fusing into a single reality dominated by a specific model of economics, that the future is to be found everywhere and all at once. When I read these books, I can only think that I must have been traveling in very different circles than these writers. The world that I have been fortunate to know, as I hope these lectures will demonstrate, is most assuredly not flat. It is full of peaks and valleys, curious anomalies, and divine distractions. History is not stopped, and the processes of cultural change and transformation remain as dynamic today as ever. The world can only appear monochromatic to those who persist in interpreting what they experience through the lens of a single cultural paradigm, their own. For those with the eyes to see and the heart to feel, it remains a rich and complex topography of the spirit.
Hello everybody. I am pleased and honored to recommend to you Wade Davis's book from the CBC Massey Lectures, The Wayfinders, My Ancient Wisdom Matters in the Modern World. For my 4 years at Trent University, I have learned that the Trent community is devoted to promoting a respectful, eco-friendly environment that is both multicultural and multifaceted. Wade Davis's lectures are pivotal for Trent students because they relate directly to daily life at Trent, as Davis conveys to his readers the imperative message that culture is not trivial. To Davis, culture includes a community's identity, their connection to nature, and spirituality. Like the Trent community, Davis acknowledges that all cultures are fundamentally connected. He stresses the importance of respecting the similarities and differences in our multicultural environment. Davis's book is an intricate web of personal experience, history, culture, genetics, and landscape, which relates directly to various disciplines studied at Trent, including history, English literature, classics, geography, anthropology, psychology, sociology, biology, environmental, cultural, and indigenous studies. The accessibility of the book is important for first-year students as it is a quick read, and the lectures can also be accessed online through CBC Radio. Listening to the lectures online adds yet another dimension to the reading experience. However, Davis's lectures are not only important by sharing a common philosophy with the Trent community and by being conveniently accessible for first-year students, but are also an and an intellectually compelling read, Davis challenges his readers to understand what is at stake: the loss of language and culture to globalization, the impact of global warming on the environment, and the web of spirituality and empathy which dwindles along with the decimation of culture and environment. Although The Wayfinders is a work of nonfiction, it emotionally engages its readers as you accompany Davis on his journeys, and in turn, develop a knowledge and empathy for many different cultures. As Davis describes his travels throughout the book, he passes down an ancient wisdom of his own. Davis instructs about the importance of preserving culture and reveals that of the 7,000 languages existing today, only half are being taught to children. Language is fundamental to cultural identity. The loss of language threatens the preservation of many cultures. As the book progresses, the reader travels along with Davis to discover the extraordinary skill of navigating the oceans with merely the knowledge of the seas and skies of the Polynesian wayfinders. You will experience the spirituality of the Bersana and Makuna people of the Anaconda by gaining the understanding of how plants, animals, and peoples are entwined to form the spiritual essence. Following exploring the environments and cultures of the world, you will be brought closer to home and introduced to Davis's Inuit friend Theo in the Arctic. It is impossible not to be emotionally connected to the story Davis tells, as Theo, gazing over the Arctic landscape with a tear in his eye, relates that the ice should be frozen over by October. This year, it didn't come until February. The hunting season in the Arctic has been cut in half, drastically changing the lives of Inuit people, who have an intimate relationship and knowledge of the snow and ice. Despite the threat of culture to globalization and global warming, Davis reminds his readers of the value of hope, and how as individuals we have the ability to facilitate cultural survival. I challenge the Trent community to read and engage with Davis's insightful book. Who knows what we can accomplish by voting The Wayfinders for Trent.